Okay, so in this video, we're having a look at decentralisation. So if you've read the previous materials, you'll have seen some of the criticisms that we might level at the bureaucratic approach, the idea that there is a best way to organise our businesses and that we can become efficient through the use of bureaucratic principles. One of the criticisms of that is that we end up with large, inflexible organisations that are very slow to be able to manoeuvre and to change and to respond to the needs of a changing environment. And decentralisation is a response to that. So in a bureaucratic environment, we see centralised control. We see decisions being made in the middle of the organisation, at the top of the organisation, if you prefer to think of it that way. Strict rules about how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to respond at any given moment. And that can be really effective. And I think one of the things that we must remember is that bureaucracy continues to be a really popular way of organising some types of business, some types of organisation. So we can't reject it out of hand, but it is important to recognise some of the potential failings of that approach. Decentralisation is a way for businesses to increase their flexibility. We devolve power out of the centre, out of the top of the organisation and back down into teams. Rather than having strict rules as being a way to control the way that the organisation runs, we might move into more indirect forms of control. Perhaps through control of budgets, for example, the requirement to submit plans of various sorts, the use of performance indicators, targets, ways to incentivize or decentivize certain types of behavior. We're looking to integrate expertise into teams. So in highly bureaucratic organizations, we would expect to see functions separated out into discrete departments. So a marketing team, perhaps a legal team, a finance team, a sales team. In a decentralized organization, we might have people with those types of expertise situated within the team that is responsible for a particular product or a particular service. So if we're a technology company, the mobile phone division might have its own marketing team, it might have its own legal team, and so on. So we're integrating expertise into that organization. The last phrase on this slide, situational rationality, sounds very convoluted, sounds very complex. What we mean by that is we're not assuming there is a one best way to do things. What we're saying is that depending on the situation, depending on the circumstances, we might need to operate in slightly different ways. Different teams operating in different parts of the world, for example, might be structured in different ways. They might have different reporting mechanisms. They might have different sorts of targets. And that reflects the fact that we need to respond to the reality that we're dealing with. And situational rationality is a way of expressing that idea. So decentralization is about moving control out of the middle of the organization back into teams with the idea that we're able to be more flexible and we're able to respond to difference in the organization in a much more effective way.